In today's video, I'll be wrapping up my series of pro-level tactics I use across Performance Max campaigns to drive growth for my clients. If you're new here, I'm Daryl, and at my agency Big Flare, we've focused on becoming experts on PMax campaigns since they launched, and have now spent hundreds of thousands of dollars on high-performing, profit-driving Performance Max campaigns for e-commerce stores. As we're now in part 3, we'll be looking at strategies you can implement today if you've started to get familiar with Performance Max campaigns and want to get a bit more granular with your optimizations. If you're setting up your first campaigns, or haven't seen the rest of this series yet, I'd go back and watch parts 1 and 2 first, so you can make sure you hit the ground running with your activity. Otherwise, let's get started with our last 3 tactics to really take these campaigns to the next level. As Google continues to push towards automation, adding audience signals is something that Google almost encourages you to avoid, labeling it as optional when you first set up a Performance Max campaign. However, the more I've run Performance Max campaigns myself, the more I'd say it's absolutely compulsory when building out a new campaign. It's so easy to skip this and overlook it when you're just getting familiar with PMax campaigns, but they're the trick to giving Google the learnings it needs to deliver results even more quickly. You can find this at the asset group stage of setting up your campaign. When you reach this, click Create an Audience Signal, and you'll see some options to direct Google towards your ideal customer. I'd suggest using 5 to 10 of each of the following types of audiences: custom segments, retargeting lists, in-market, and affinity audiences. The custom segments should include keyword lists relevant to your store or product, as well as URLs and apps related to your business. This is what gives Google an idea of where your business is placed in relation to others in your vertical. Retargeting lists are fairly easy to grasp, but are essentially an opportunity to use your own data to not only retarget your own loyal customers, but also to give Google an idea of the type of customer that already engages with your offering. Finally, in-market and affinity audiences can direct Google towards groups of people that are potentially already in a position to buy from you or have an interest in your offering. For example, have you just uploaded a bunch of new activewear? The sports and fitness in-market audience might be who you want to be in front of. If you launched your PMax campaign without setting up these signals in advance, Google will eventually identify them during the learning period after a few weeks or months of trial and error. However, by giving this direction as early as possible, you maximize your chances of shortening the learning period and getting your campaign profitable as soon as possible. Not one to skip when you set up your next campaign. When you get started with Performance Max as a channel, it's likely that you've already got a bunch of images ready to go to add to your campaign. Even if you don't already have images created specifically for Performance Max, Google can easily grab images from your website and social media feeds, and these often work out fine. However, over the last few years, the rise of video has been unstoppable. Users are more responsive to video, and Google knows it. That's why, whether you added videos or not to your PMax campaign, Google is going to show video ads for your products. But how? The answer is simple. It's going to auto-generate videos using the content from your website and other ads. As you can imagine, the performance of these auto-generated videos tends to be not great. Making your own video creative can be a bit daunting, but there are a few tactics you can use to get this done quickly and cheaply. Firstly, you can use Google Ads' own video editor. This definitely isn't my favorite approach, as the videos can still look a bit cheap, but you have a lot more control over the message that's presented to your audience. For example, if you want to create a video around a particular range, you could give Google 3 or so images featuring different items alongside some offer-led copy that's totally relevant to those particular products. Another nice feature of this is that it allows the video to be accompanied by a voiceover, which is always good to have in video creative. Aside from this, use standard video best practices, a strong call to action and an emphasis on features or benefits of your product while keeping in line with your tone of voice. While not a perfect solution to a lack of video creative, it certainly works as an MVP. Another option I'd really encourage you to look at is UGC, or user-generated content. As the way audiences expect to consume video has begun to change, mainly due to short-form video platforms like TikTok, advertisers are having to react. As a result, even the biggest brands with huge budgets are resorting to more raw, self-filmed video creative and are seeing really strong results. In many ways, this is great for small businesses. The creative is easy to make and feels more genuine than an incredibly polished video. At Big Flare, we're seeing some great results with this, at times on Google even more than TikTok, so would encourage you to give it a try. User-generated content is normally gathered by sending out samples of products to a selection of customers, or even professionals, in exchange for a review. Some people may expect to get paid for this service, but it's something you can easily do yourself at home. Film yourself using and talking about the products you're selling while again sticking to best practices. Keep it benefit-led and include a strong call to action. You might be surprised with the results. You can edit this on your phone with iMovie or CapCut, so there's no excuse for not spending 15 minutes giving this a go. There are even now services cropping up such as Billo.app that automate a lot of this for you. With Billo, for just $49, you can get custom UGC video ads done up for you in a variety of styles, such as product review, unboxing, or just straight up ad. Now that our account structure and ad assets are as good as they can be, this last tactic is something that's a bit more technical but can take an already high-performing Performance Max campaign and build on its success even further. It's something that's integral to our approach at my agency Big Flare, and we've named it the Shopping Dupes method. As we covered in the last video, your product titles are the most important item in your shopping feed when it comes to Google deciding which keywords to show your ads for. With Shopping Dupes, we're going to duplicate your top selling items, then put totally new keyword ideas into those duplicated product titles, allowing us to target twice as many keywords as you were able to get previously. Make sense? It should get a bit clearer as we work through it together. Firstly, we need to identify our top sellers. If you've got a few months worth of activity behind your campaign, this is going to be simple. All you have to do is dive into Google Ads and sort your products in order of conversions. What we're looking for here is the 80-20, the 20% of products that are driving 80% or so of your sales. Depending on how many products you have in your feed, you may want to select the top 5 or 10 or even 20 if you have a particularly large store. The key is just to make sure you're covering around 80% of your sales volume, regardless of how many products you've chosen. The next step is super simple. Once you've identified the products you want to work with, duplicate them in your product feed. The important thing is to make sure you change the item ID after you've duplicated it. This is crucial, as once you've done this, Google will think it's looking at a totally different product, even if everything else like the title and landing page are the same. I'd add a custom label to your dupes at this point so it's easier to find them later. Now, we don't want to just launch the dupes, as that wouldn't really get us anywhere. The magic starts at the next step. Once we have our top performing dupes, it's time to start reworking these titles with new and engaging keyword ideas. If you start to run out of ideas, look at user reviews to get some seed keywords, plug them into Keyword Planner, and see if it spits out any relevant terms that have some serious search volume behind them. Once you've got these ideas, start to rework the titles of your top performing products. The more relevant keywords you can target, the better. Plus, by doing this and having 2 versions of the same product with different keywords in the title, you're more or less doubling the keyword coverage that it has across Google's network. You've essentially just doubled that standard 150 character limit on your shopping product titles. Finally, you want to set up a brand new standard shopping or PMax campaign to house these dupes. As you set it up, run a filter to make sure it's only showing the products with the custom label you assigned earlier. Before you kick this off, make sure you jump into your old PMax campaign and exclude the new dupes from there. Once the new campaign is live, manage it the same way you would any other shopping or PMax campaign, and once it's getting a decent volume of conversions, you've done it. You should still be seeing all the same success from your old PMax campaign while getting the additional coverage from the new campaign. You can continue to gather learnings and optimize this over time, narrowing down the keywords that are most effective. And that wraps up our 3-part series on pro-level PMax strategies. Some of the tactics we worked through in this video are a bit more technical, so if you have any questions, feel free to leave a comment under this video and I'll try and get back to you. Otherwise, be sure to subscribe, as I'm constantly testing new ways to optimize PMax campaigns, and as soon as I find something useful, you can be sure I'll be uploading it to my channel.